Hello, everybody. I'm Alex, and this is my first go at online storytelling. I thought I'll tell you a bedtime story. You'll have to tell me what you think, and then give me some ideas of some stories to tell, and I'll try and do one once or twice a week, maybe. So tonight's story is called The Little Christmas Tree, which I thought might be appropriate as you would have all taken your Christmas trees down by now. So as all good stories start, once upon a time, there was a beautiful green forest with really tall trees in it. But there was one very small, short Christmas tree who lived in that forest, and he spent his days looking up at these magnificent trees, thinking one day, I'm going to be like that. The next day, there was a rabbit came around, and he looked at our little Christmas tree. And he went, I'm going to hop over that tree. And he hopped straight over the top of the Christmas tree without touching it. The little Christmas tree looked at the retreating rabbit and thought, I'm not very tall. I'm so sad. Sometime later, he heard some women coming through the forest. They looked at the little Christmas tree and they laughed at him because he was so small. And he was no good to anyone because he was so small. The little Christmas tree was so sad because they thought he was so small. He just gazed up at the beautiful tall trees, thinking, one day I'm going to be like them. I'm going to grow. I'm going to get bigger. Not long after that, a beautiful white stork came flying into the forest and landed next to the little Christmas tree. He looked down at the little Christmas tree and he said, don't worry, little Christmas tree. All these big tall trees are going to be cut down to become masts for beautiful sailing ships. Then their wonderful white sails will be hung from their big tall masts and the ships will go sailing across the seven seas. Oh, the little Christmas tree went, I want to be a ship's mast. That would be so wonderful. And he dreamt of being a ship's mast that night. A bit while later, in the autumn, when it was starting to get a little bit cold, some sparrows landed next to him. And they said, don't worry, soon they'll come and cut all these other trees down and they're going to become Christmas trees. And they go into houses and they decorate them and they're Christmas trees and it's wonderful. The little Christmas tree thought, they don't want me. I'm too little and I'm so sad because nobody wants me. Then all of a sudden, he felt a little tug on him and he was picked up. A family had come out to get him and they'd picked him up and they took him back to their house and there was carols singing and beautiful jingly songs. And it was Christmas Eve and they put him in a pot and they went into the lounge and they decorated him with baubles and garlands and Christmas lights and he looked amazing and the children hung chocolates on him and sweets and then presents were put underneath him and he was just so happy to be a part of this family celebration. They were singing, they were dancing, they were telling stories. It was just the most exciting time he'd ever had and he was so happy. He beamed all the way through Christmas because of everything that was happening to him. At the end of Christmas, they took all his decorations down and he was put in a storeroom out the way. And he sat there and he was all alone and a bit sad all over again. But then some mice came out. The little mice came round and they were chattering to him and he retold some of the stories that he'd heard at Christmas. Although some of the mice were a bit grumpy and they said, that's not a good story, and they scuttled off and they left him alone. And again, the little Christmas tree went, I'm sad and I'm lonely. But at least I had Christmas. And then a young boy came in and he picked up the rather dirty and brown Christmas tree. He looked very, very sorry for himself. And he took him outside and he dug a hole and he was planted in the hole. And the little Christmas tree opened his eyes and there was daffodils over there and there was snowdrops over there and the grass was growing green. And he felt the rush of water over his roots as they watered him, and his soil was firmed in. And this little Christmas tree thought, I'm going to grow and I'm going to live and I'm going to be amazing. And he spent all summer and he could see the children playing in the summer and they played hide and seek behind him and it was fantastic. And then the weather got a little bit colder and it came to autumn and nearly into winter, and then he was dug up again and he had another Christmas and he became this family's Christmas tree for however long that went on for. And he was so happy and he grew a little bit taller each year and he was the happiest Christmas tree ever. And they all lived happily ever after. And that is my story. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you sleep well tonight, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.